Hi everybody, this is Terry with Crafty Book Nerd, and today is part 1 of the books I read for April of 2023. These are the books that either checked out from the library and I had to turn back in, or they may have been an audiobook or an ebook. So we're going to talk about 5 books today. First of all, let's start with our quote. Today's quote: "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." All right, let's get started. I read some good books this month, and I'm excited to share some of those with you now. The first one is The Soul of an Octopus by Sy Montgomery. This is a non-fiction, and it was read on my Kindle as an ebook. I read this book because it was recommended by my friend Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, and I follow her on YouTube, so I thought, let me check it out, The Soul of an Octopus. And I don't read many non-fiction books. It was very informative. I learned a lot about octopus that I never knew. They're actually pretty cool creatures. This book explores the world that they live in and the connections that they make with humans. The person in this book befriends several octopus, and we see that each one has a different personality, and they each interact with humans in different ways. After I read this book, I really became intrigued about the octopus and wanted to know more about them. So I actually went online and I did some research of my own to learn more. And I discovered that they are very intelligent, and they do not really like to be kept in captivity, but I understand that even though this may seem cruel, that in order to study them and learn more about them, that needs to be done. I gave this one 3 stars. I did enjoy it. The next book I want to talk about was also an ebook, and that book is Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitanto. Probably messed that up. Who is the author of Dear Edward, which was a really good book. And this is from Oprah's book club in 2023. So pretty recent. This is a recent book. I gave this one 4 stars. It was a good one. It's a story about love and deception and hope for healing. It's a story about William and his childhood, and how there was a tragedy in his childhood, and as a child he never felt loved, and even as he grew into an adult he didn't feel loved until he met Judith, who he falls for. And Judith is full of life, and she has an incredible family, and they take William in and kind of make him their own part of their family. And so that's the opposite of what he grew up with. But there's an event in the story where things will change for William and Judith and the sisters. And they will have to examine how their family dynamic is made up and what they're willing to sacrifice to forgive and forget. It was really good. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. The next one I read, Stone Cold Fox by Rachel Kohler Croft. I picked this one because of the cover. It looked interesting to me, so I thought, why not? Let's give it a shot. Well, it was okay. Just a 3-star read for me. Nothing really exciting. It's a story about a woman who was coached by her mother to kind of be a con artist and marry somebody that's wealthy so that you'll never have to worry about money and you can be taken care of. So she has to play this role, the young lady in the book, so that she can marry into a very wealthy family. She learned a lot from her mother, and this book we get glimpses of her childhood growing up, and then in the other timeline we see in the current with her doing things so that she can marry into this wealthy family. However, Colin, the person she wants to marry, has a best friend named Gail. And Gail is also in love with Colin. And so this becomes a story of these two women and how they fight for his attention. The outcome was very predictable for me. And so, like I said, it was just an okay read, coming in at 3 stars. The next book is a book that I probably never would have picked up, but it was my book club selection for the month. And that book was That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. The cover is kind of interesting. It is a fantasy, and I do like fantasy. And so it's also more of a rom-com, and that's not really a genre that I read a lot of. But it was interesting. It's about a girl named Cinnamon, and Cinnamon is a spice trader. And she has a run-in with a demon named Fallon, and they go on an adventure. There are some trigger warnings for this book. First of all, there's some violence. It's very descriptive. I did listen to this one, so parts of it were a little bit gory. It's also very steamy, and so if you don't like that kind of book, then you wouldn't be interested in this. But it was a sweet, funny tale, and I did enjoy it. And there are other books in this Mishaps series. This was the Mishaps book 1, and I may read another one since I did give this one 4 stars. It surprised me. I enjoyed it. And the last book I had, which I actually did get from the library, but so many people had it on hold that I had to turn it in before I could do this review. And it actually is my favorite book for the month of April. And that book is The Measure by Nikki Erlich. If you could know the number of years you could live, would you want to know? That's the dilemma that 8 people we meet in this story must ask themselves. On everybody's 22nd birthday, when you wake up, there is a small wooden box outside your front door that holds your future. The question is, do you look at it? Do you want to know? Do you want to know about your loved ones? Do you want to know about yourself? Do you want to know about your spouse or your children? That's a decision that the 8 people that we follow in this book have to make. These 8 characters' decisions and fates are all weeded together. They're best friends, they're pen pals, they're lovers, there's a politician, there's a doctor. It really challenged me and made me think about what I would do in this situation. I love the characters. I love the way the author was able to intertwine them with each other and show how different decisions can make different changes for other people in your life. You think you're making a decision that just affects you, but it has a ripple down effect and can affect other people. I just really liked it. I couldn't put it down. I was anxious to see what each character was going to do and how that was going to affect the other characters. So I highly recommend this one. It was good, and I did give it 5 stars. So that wraps up the 5 books that I don't have physically, that I either listened to or had to return to the library or did as an ebook. In my next video, I will be looking at the physical books that I have, and I'll be talking about those. And I think there are 5 more. I read either 10 or 11 books this month. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you read any of these, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to give me a like, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot, and remember, drink good coffee, read good books.